So I want to talk about what is creating more fun in my life, and it's about creating a reality that is just light and fun in my life. Yes, there's still these financial issues and all of that, but I can't be bothered. And yes, I didn't pay my rent, but I can't be bothered. And I should probably, and I should do something about it, but that's the old way. And the new way is, and you might call me ignorance or mad or not, or whatever. But I think we all are in this shift and this changes, and it's a new way of doing it. So today in the coaching call of my Starseed Rising program, that's all about living in alignment with your higher self. We had such a beautiful example that I want to share with you. And in this video, I want to take you through it. Just, it's not affirmations, it's not manifestations, nothing to do with techniques. It's just such a joy and poof, easy things to do in your life, but then just starts to be realized. So I talked about it in the coaching call, and I realized, oh, this is what I'm doing lately, and it's happening, and it's more and more is actually just appearing in my life. Yes, not the big things yet, because probably there is some issues there, and I can just give you all the reason why this wouldn't work. But let's look at the things that does work, because it's all the same. Technique is not the word. It's all the same approach, I believe. So this is a fun way to manifest without doing a manifestation as such, but the creation of your life, basically. And I'm sure that it's the same story. Why are you falling down? It's the same story for money. I'm just playing with that still. You're the first to know when it's shifting and changing. The coaching call had this beautiful example of someone was talking about why there are things, there's things in her life that are closing, doors are closing, things in the business are falling away one after the other. And then there's the stress of, I don't know, it's September, how am I going to do the rest of the year? It's someone with a lot of staff and depending on income, right? And doors are closing, people are leaving, not because he's not good at what she does, he's actually very good at what she does, but it's time to move, to let that go. And the funny thing is, he actually came to the problem and needed support with that. My addictions, my small addictions to coffee or carbs or things like that. And I'm like, that's not your problem. It's like, so that's not the issue. Those are just, that's why I mentioned it, those are just things that show up in your life because you start to move more from that human perspective, trying to make life happen. And it comes from the space of a little bit of panic, like things are falling away, so now I need to do a lot to resolve that issue. And because you're going in a state of doing, that was so beautiful example, because he was more and more in a state of doing, and you will recognize this in your life, right? There, these little addictions came up to soothe the pain, so to speak, to soothe the path that was not hers. Because the path is just to allow it to be, just to allow it to happen. And the moment you do that, it will just come with such ease. And she has those experiences, but the moment things happen and the human is panicking, back to that. So I had a beautiful solution for that. But I want to talk you through that process of what happened there, because it's an excellent example. So I said, first of all, what I see you're doing. There's two things what I recommend you to do. First of all is accept the situation as it is. People are leaving, and the finances are going down. And while you need a certain amount to make it running, right? That's going down. People are leaving. That's what's happening. Can you accept that just as it is? Because the resistance to it, not wanting it, puts a lot of fuel on the fire. You put a lot of focus on something you don't want to focus on. So if we shift that, that's the first thing. I'm still talking about the first element where you shift that perception to. I said, So in your life, you know when doors are closing, new doors are opening. That is the, I don't know if that's a law, doors closing and opening law, but it's a law of, that's how it always happens, right? You know, if there's crisis in your life and things collapse, it's because new things want to birth. It's logic. So as I said, if you just go with, okay, this needed to go and this needed to make space for something new. I don't know what the new is, but I can already feel excited for the new. And she says, shall is then like hoping for something good to come. I said, no, it's not hoping. It's not wishing. It's not trusting. Trusting is still from the place of maybe it's not, so let me trust. I said, it's from a knowing. Everyone knows when doors are closing, new doors will open. It's a fact, isn't it? When there was crisis in your life, when there was darkness, there was always sunshine after. It's just how it works. So if you just go into the knowing that that's what's going to happen, because it's logic. So then you don't focus on the closing doors, but you focus on, doors are going to open. And I'm so delighted about that. And knowingness. Go in the delight of it. Because you know it's going to be even better. Because that needed to go. So there's going to be... You don't need to let things go before... Because worse things come in. No, the law is always... I just made the law up. How we call that. Closing doors guarantee opening more beautiful doors. Know that as a fact. So that's one thing. It's already beautiful, right? You feel the release when you do something like that and the lightness of it. Oh, I do. You notice. Second thing is, I said to her, so what would be fun? What would be fun? What would happen now in your business? What would be a really fun thing? And sorry if I share all the details there, but it's to the person. But it's such a beautiful example, right? So I said, tell me then, and it's so incredible. So I'm asking you, think of something, what is so much fun, that is basically looking more at the open doors, right? What would be so much fun? Think about it for a moment. So what she said was, well, if we are now starting to work in dipping our feet in the corporate world, and we want to bring that into our business. She has a business with horses and works with people to find the light within themselves or the strength. I probably don't describe it well, but working in collaboration with horses, because horses reflect immediately back to you where you are. If you're bullshitting or if you're really being sincere, right? So she says we tapping into corporate world and we want to expand there. And I said, first of all, is that you thinking that, or are you feeling that passion for it? I'm really feeling that passion, okay. Because if it's just thinking we need to make more money and there is more money, it's not going to work. In these days, it's not going to work. Why? Because it's just doing. It's dragging yourself, it's pushing yourself, it's making it happen. Close those doors. Those doors are closed already. It doesn't work anymore. No, the new doors that are opening are this. Okay, so she gives the example. She says, there's in the weekend, something is coming, something is happening, and just I imagine that more will come out of that, and how beautiful that would be. And when she finished saying that, she was like, oh, that would be such a relief. And I said, but that's not fun. You're just talking about a solution to your problem. That's not fun. It will be great, but it's not what I'm asking. So, and it's not going to work. It's like, what? And that's because of this. Here, I love this elastic. Here you have your problem. I'm in such a good mood lately. Here you have your problem, your issue, your thing. And what you're now talking to me about is the solution to that problem. and it's still attached to your problem. So it's not taking you out of the energy of the problem. And because it's still attached, the actual focus is on the problem. Because if you try to get away from something, there must be a lot of power here that wants you to move away from it, right? There's a lot of energy building here around that problem where you'd be focusing on. There's the lack, the not enoughness, and think doors are closing and people leaving and blah. So as a solution, I want new people to come in. So logic, of course you do. But because it's still connected to the energy of the old, it's not going to resolve your problem. Maybe for a little bit, and then you be pulled back. Because that's what this does if you're still in the same energy of it. This elastic is a great one. So you want to drop this altogether. Love the visuals. So you want to drop that altogether and go to something else. I said, if I'm asking you what could be fun, I mean something like this. There is a beautiful car that's going to stop. Just imagine this, I said. There's a beautiful car that stops at your range, like where your horses are. And you're looking up thinking, oh, what's that car doing here? And then there's a man stepping out in a suit, corporate, stepping out and is looking, oh, what's here? I don't know why I drove here. I don't know why I stepped out, but it felt like something to do. And he's like, oh, I love this. What are you doing here? And you explain him what your idea is, corporate, and that was just in your mind. And then he's like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. This is what I want to do with my team. Can we book a day with you? And you're like, yeah, and you book it on the spot. Now that's fun. That is unexpected. That comes out of nowhere. That is fun. You saw the big smile in her face and the lightness of the energy of it. So that's not resolving issues. That's just dropping it all and, ooh. And it's the idea of, ooh, that would be fun. If that will happen. That's mad. But that's the lightness of it. And then let it go. Drop it. And you might sometimes come back to like, oh, that's fun. But don't put so much attachment to it. Like, not that's going to resolve my issues. That's going to no. Because the chance of that happening, it's so slim. So that's not a resolution to your problems. It's just you having a crazy idea. Yes. That's so light. Right? So if you're in the middle of a relation crisis and you think, oh, it'd be so much fun if my partner would be do the A, B, C, D, E, F, would be that all of a sudden and our relationship would be so beautiful. No, that's not the light. Oh, that would be fun. No, that's a whole demand and that's a resolution to your problem. You feel the difference and in energy there, right? It would be rather you having a morning in bed and thinking, oh, it'd be so much fun if someone would bring me a cup of tea in my bed right now while you hear some noise in the kitchen. Oh, just that light, not, I wish he finally would bring me tea. Never does that. No. Oh, that'd be fun. And then you let go. So let me share with you what because that's happening to me lately. First of all, I was in the UK on holiday. I'm in Amsterdam, right? Living there for the last year. I was going on the way there was traffic jam, a lot of traffic jam on the big highway, the big circle around London. It was disaster. It was a lot, hours of traffic jam. And the way back, I thought, I don't want to go on the highway. I want to go to small roads, even if that takes longer. And there's not going to be any traffic jam. And then the person I was staying with, they were like, there's always going to be traffic jam. I said, no, not when I'm driving. And I heard myself saying it, but I felt so light, like, no. I said, I'm going to drive and there's not going to be any traffic jams. And if there is, I'm never going to stand still. It will be just slow pacing. But it's like Hartney. It's not really something that we're going to explore. And it was 2 days I took to drive back from Wales to Dover and then take the boat back to the Netherlands. Well, France and then to the Netherlands. And so it did. I didn't have any traffic jam. I think 1 or 2 where I never stopped. I didn't really realize that happened. I just declared it. So you might declare, I wrote a few down so I remember like what happened actually. That was a big one. There was a small one. I was walking in the market. I had my friend visiting here, and I was walking in the market, and she showed me a button that says, "You do you." And that's something I say often. Like, if someone does something that's like, I don't get it, but you do you. I don't mind. Very much. I do me, you do you, and that's fine. So she says, "Oh, look at the button. That's really like your thing." I said, "Yeah." I thought, I don't want to buy a button, but it would be nice to have it as a gift. Dropped it. Was busy with something else in the market. Few minutes later, she says, "I have something for you." Like, that button. Now, you could say there's coincidence, but it happened one after the other. I would think there was some cheese that we were buying things, vegetables, this and that. And I thought, yeah, I'm not eating cheese anymore so much, but you're my guest. But I don't really feel like paying for that cheese. I think she's going to pay for it. That would be fun. That would be easy. Not as a like, oh, I'm paying for everything now. No. It's like, I think she would pay for it. Before I knew, that's what happened. What else happened? Of course, now because he's visiting, we do a lot of walking outside and sitting on many terraces, and it's busy when the weather is nice. And it's always before we come to terrace, a place to sit, like with tables and chairs. I'm not pronouncing it well. Pops in my mind, there will be a great place for us. Well, normally when you go to busy place, like, oh, don't know if I will get a place. And now it is like, there will be a great place. I know, for sure. Right? And there always is. You're like, oh, just that beautiful spot there is for us in the sun. Isn't that wonderful? I'm just counting on it. I'm having those doors open. And so it is. Right? And with such lightness, not like, oh, I need to have a table. So how you do that is, no, let me not talk about how to do that. What else do I have? Parking, of course. I'm going to talk about how. Parking, you might, many people do that, right? Manifest or intend a parking. And I used to do that with parking angels. Before I would go somewhere, just instruct my parking angels to make sure I have a parking place. It's just me knowing that that's going to happen. I just open a door. And so it is, always. Now it is also, whenever I order, no, pause for a moment. Yes, I'm with you again. Where was I? Yes, now when I order food somewhere where you need to order your food at the bar yourself, right? I don't first go and look for a table. I order and I just know there will be a table available. I just demand it. I just declare it. That's the good word. I just declare that to be. I just know. And so it is, always. Clockwork. Another one is very beautiful. As I'm so much outgoing these days, I meet the most beautiful people. I have a lot of conversations. And just few minutes, 5 minutes conversation with people here, there, left, right, center. So many beautiful, gorgeous conversations where people tell me a lot of things. Why? Because I'm so open. I'm such a good place. I'm present with myself. I feel really I have come into a space of my essence. And why do I meet the most beautiful people? Because I'm in that space of, you could say I'm the beautiful person, but in that space of seeing beauty, of seeing the goodness is everything, or I think that's what it is. And not bypassing anything, not whatever is ugly, pushing it away. No, not at all. Yeah, just for what it is. So I'm in that state of presence, of my essence, and it's a very ordinary state, I must say. Nothing special about it. But that what it does is I'm so open to people, and then they are so open to me. Just, you want to hug everyone on the street, almost energy. I don't really literally want to do that, but, so open. Such a beautiful interactions. So because I'm there, I only meet beautiful people. Do I meet angry people or someone that is cold? No, I don't meet them. They're not in my reality. Are they out there? I'm sure they are. They are. Do I need to focus the fact that they are and then need to prove that this cannot be true, this reality? My ignorant la la land reality? Because that might how some people might describe it, right? Ignorance. You need to, especially now, there's no income. You need to be really, come on, get a job, do something, or realize that there's wars and there's horrible people in the world. And I'm like, yeah, so what's that going to do if I would see that is in my reality and I focus on that and I feel miserable? What is that going to do to those things, to those people? I think me being in this state, and I'm not doing it because of that, is doing a lot of amazing things to my surrounding and the people I interact with. They go home feeling so much lighter. It's not my purpose. I do it because it feels joyful for me. Okay, so now let's go to what you can do, right? I just wanted to describe how light it can be. Also for you, wherever you are, really. So the thing is then, think about what would be fun. Let's play with that. What would be fun? Simple little things. Let's start there. Because the more proof you have, the easier that becomes. The more fun it is. It's just play. Let's play. Let's play. Don't do something that you're emotionally charged. So not this. You have a problem, you want the resolution, and the resolution thing would be so much fun if I have $1,000. Oh, that would be so much better because of, yes, I do think I'm working with it also, this easy lightness with money. So let's see how that plays out, right? I have an easiness around money. I just borrowed and I'm living on that borrowed money and it feels so easy. Not that I can pay my rent from it, but I can sit on the terrace and I can have a non-alcoholic beer or whatever. Lightness of being. So what would be fun? Think of what would be fun. Something that is not. So if there's no money to pay the bill, what would be fun? If someone you would, so be careful with this. If I would just find €1,000 somewhere, and you don't have to say on the street. If I look at the street, I will find it. It doesn't have to be specific. But wouldn't it be fun if I would just find that? Maybe if that feels like, ooh, that's too much, that I can't do that. How fun it will be that this week I will just find money everywhere. It's just coming. And it might be you finding it on the floor, someone giving it to you, or you paid for something. You thought you paid, but you didn't, but you got the good. Don't go back and say, oh, sorry, I didn't pay for it. No, that's given to you. See it in all different ways it comes. Or you went in somewhere, that's happening as well. Like you went in somewhere and you got to use discount, or they said, coming, you don't need to pay, or that's all part of that, right? It doesn't have to come in a bill. Or when that is very much like, oh, I can't make that light, do something else. I wish that person would call me. Wouldn't it be fun? Those words. Wouldn't it be fun if that person would just call me? Simple as that. Let's try it out. Little simple things. Play with it. Let me know. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just playing with it. I'm just keeping it super light, and that's not really what I do during the day. Another part of it. Let me do a third element. These are people that are in my Starseed Rising mentorship, or I don't call it mentorship anymore, but in that program where they start living in alignment with their higher self. So also what happens there, they more and more step out of that human limit, the limits that you feel as a human, and they step into their higher self and live from there. More and more in that expansion that they are. And so when you so limited, so closed off, so believing everything that happens in your life is happening to you, or you're victim to all of that, it's very difficult to go to, ooh, that'd be fun, right? So a third element, I didn't say because these people are already much living there, is also for you to really be in that state of in alignment with your higher self, or feeling your presence, or wherever you are, right? So the way I do that, and I always say that because I really find it important. I wrote it down the other day. What did I say? Yes. Let me put it like this. So if you feel you're not there at all, or you do. So I have four stages that I came up with. Do we have still time for that? Yeah. The first one, you might be someone that is exploring. So I'm just here for answers, right? If you feel like, oh, I can't just do that light, then if you do, then have a great day, right? And the video ends here for you. That's what I want to say. If you feel like I can't just do that, oh, that'd be fun. Listen to this. So if you're someone that just start exploring the world beyond your five senses, beyond your conscious mind, and start to understand there's a subconscious mind where I stored all my trauma and my beliefs and my limitations that's holding me back a lot. That's phase one. You're exploring. What I did do for that, I have a foundation course that works with your subconscious mind, and you start shifting from making it happen to really thriving, because you change your subconscious mind in just a few weeks' time. That's for you. If you're someone that is awakening to the fact that you have a higher self, you have a soul, you have spirit guides and all that, then what I do is Starseed Rising. I talk about that a lot. This program is really going to shift you there, right? Living in alignment with your higher self. Absolute changing a ball game that changes you. And if you just want to know so that's called Starseed Rising. But if you just want to know your purpose in life, and yeah, that's about purpose. There's another one that's called, I don't remember, the purpose course, I think. Something like that. All right. Starseed Rising and something around purpose. Good that it's many years old, so I don't remember exact name. It doesn't work like this, right? Third one, Ascension. Exploring, awakening, ascension. So the ascension is when you are understanding that your soul is having a human experience. It's not your human that's the center of everything, but it's actually your higher self, your soul, that's having that human experience. And you start living that more. You start living more from that space of your soul. It's really, in the beginning, it was all about the human perspective, and then you start shifting, transitioning to a space of the I am and your essence. But you're still in that space of ascension. And what I did there is my inner circle. That's not open at the moment, but I also have a 21-day boot camp. But that is more about you stepping into your presence. So that is there, ascension. And then we have the fourth one. It's really about enlightenment, about mastery. I have no program there, but that's where I'm at the moment. And I'm sure that if I feel the urge to do new things, it's from that level. So I will talk more on YouTube from that level, because I'm stepping more and tapping more into that and being that. I'm not stepping in anywhere. I'm remembering that. I am that. So that's the next thing. So there's for every layers, there is, except for the last one, but just be with me. And I'm sure new things will come up that address that part. So where are you? The exploring, the awakening, the ascension, or are you really in that mastery, that enlightenment? And with that, I would like to close. So much love. It was a pleasure doing this together with you, and see you in another one. Much love.